Welcome back to Barcelona Metropolitan. We're here again with Anna Klevtsova from Klev&Vera International Law Firm, and we're going to be addressing something that is on the minds of many international travelers to Barcelona, and that is the automatic extension for residence permits renewals. We'll have some frequently asked questions that we're getting, and Anna's going to be talking about that. So since the state of national emergency was declared in March of this year, many of foreigners who immigrated to Spain have been working and wondering what would happen to their recently expired or just about to expire residence permit. The government issued a ruling to automatically extend most of those work and residence permits during the COVID-19 crisis, but we still have a lot of questions. So can you talk to us and please tell us a little bit more about the automatic extension and how it works?
Sure, and yes, indeed, many residence permits expired during the months of the COVID crisis, and the Spanish government made a very wise decision in order to prevent the collapse of the system in the following months because of the high volume of the applications. And so the Ministry of Health issued a regulation to automatically extend the permits that expired during the state of the national emergency, which is which was declared on the 14th of March, as you said, and as well as those that expired in the 90 days prior its declaration. So we would be talking here about the time frame from 14th of December until 21st of June.
Okay, and so for how long is the extension going to be valid?
The ruling states that the extension will take effect from the next day from the expiry of the authorization of the residence card, and it will be extended for 6 months after the end of the state of the national emergency, except in some cases where such extension will be only for 3 months. So we would be talking now, when we know that the national emergency is no longer in place, we would be talking until 21st of December so far.
Okay, and what kind of permits are covered in this period?
Well, basically, it concerns most of the most common permits of residence and of work, or residence permits for study, student mobility, non-working practice, or voluntary services. And it would apply to all non-lucrative residents or people on work permits and student researchers, etc. And these authorizations, as the process usually starts with an authorization, and also their corresponding residence cards that in Spanish are called TIEs, will be automatically extended without the need of resolution or any specific paperwork that you would need to file. It is automatically extended.
Oh, wow, that's good. And what about the family members of EU citizens?
This type of permits are also automatically extended for the same period of 6 months from the end of the national emergency state. That's from 21st of June. And it also applies to people who hold long-term residency or permanent residency cards.
Okay. What happens if a person has applied for the renewal and then they kind of got stuck in the middle of this crisis?
Yeah, the regulation says that this automatic extension will apply even if you have already submitted the application for renewal or a modification if you apply to change it for a different type, but only if you haven't received the resolution, the explicit resolution on your case. And once this renewal or modification application are resolved explicitly and you receive the resolution from the immigration office, that will take priority. So the extension will no longer have effect. Okay. And if you haven't yet applied for the renewal, you can submit the renewal application anytime during the validity of that extension. So until 21st of December so far.
Okay. Here's a popular question, Anna. We've had a number of people call us saying that they came to visit Barcelona in Spain for a few months. So they were on a short-term visa. And then they couldn't even fly back to their country even if they wanted to. So what is their status?
It is indeed also a very common case, and we also receive a lot of such inquiries, as it is a very frequently, well, it happened that many people got caught as with traveling here to Spain on a tourist or just on this visa-free period for 90 days, such as citizens of US, for example. So their stay is extended also automatically, but for a period of 3 months from the day that the national emergency is lifted. So there is no stress to rush and to try to somehow leave the Spanish territory because the flights are not, in some destinations, the flights are not operating yet. So you have that 3 months extra to find your travel arrangements and to live in the peaceful way. However, this extended period will only be limited to the Spanish territory. That means it's not a Schengen visa. It only covers your stay in Spain.
Okay, actually, I know a number of people who would be a little bit more relaxed now, and some people who scrambled already to get out and try to fix things because they were afraid that they were going to overstay their legal amount, and that might jeopardize their ability to apply for a visa in the future. Now, what about—
No, in case if they, sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead,
I'm
please.
just saying that that if that happens and they are living and they face this kind of situation and they are asked questions why they haven't left earlier, they just need to refer to that regulation and they will be fine. But I don't think because all border controls officers, they are of course aware of that regulation.
Okay, and what about foreigners who had residence here in Spain, but then were traveling abroad when the I guess the period took effect, and then have taken longer than 6 months to get back to Spain because of either travel restrictions or the Spanish government was being careful and not letting people in who weren't citizens. Can you talk to us about that classification of people?
Yeah, sure. And here you refer to the cases that in order to renew the residence permit, normally people will need to prove that they were in Spain for more than 6 months. And if they were caught outside when the pandemic started, so they were not able to return to Spain, and then they cannot prove those 6 months, as you said. And in that case, the regulation specifically says that those absences from the Spanish territory will not be taken into account because they occur due to the pandemic and they are credited circumstances, so they will not take them into account.
Okay, well, that's all very helpful, and I think we're going to have more questions coming up, particularly having to do with whether or not the European Union will allow U.S. citizens and people from other countries who have not achieved the minimum limit for COVID new cases, but that hasn't been decided yet. So perhaps we can invite you back in July when this is determined and see who can be let in and who cannot. And thank you again, Anna, so much for your help with immigration questions. And anything else you want to add?
Sure, I would be very happy to continue talking about these matters, and we can we can answer all questions that you have or the concerns that you receive from your readers. And of course, we can talk about travel restrictions or renewal process because of the COVID situation. It's some people lost their jobs, and that perhaps the matter we can talk separately as well. But yeah, it's a pleasure to talk to you, and anytime. Thank you.
Excellent. And for those of you guys, thank you again for being with us here at Metropolitan. Don't stop asking your questions. And Anna, we're going to put all your details below. So how to reach Anna Klevtsova at Klev&Vera. Make sure to follow them on the different social media channels. That's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Barcelona Metropolitan. And thank you again, Anna. Have a fantastic and safe holiday and just relaxation if you're out there in the rural village. I like the background that you have there. But thanks, everybody. And don't hesitate to give us a call.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.